It's very important that we even start practicing the networking right from this particular session. We'll probably create some time for that in the course of the meeting. But like first, networking. Why is it necessary for us to network? Or in the first place, what is networking? Anyone? Can you just type something in the chat? What do you think networking is all about? What is networking? Let's start with that. Okay, Frank, Benedict, Gio, Amara. What is networking? Anyone? You never can tell. You can win yourself a prize. Maybe I'll just give you 2 hectares of land somewhere if you answer the question right. What is networking? Yeah. Now somebody's ready to win the hectares of land. What is networking? Frank, Benedict, Gio, Amara. Okay, networking simply means reaching out to other people. Correct. I wish you were here. Okay, so it's about reaching out to other people. So you have just won yourself 20 plots of land. You want to know where? Should I tell you? In Sambisa Forest. Alright, don't mind me. So somebody else says networking is a web of connections, leveraging on relationships and connections. You guys are very, very brilliant. I'm even afraid for myself now. You seem to be a lot more brilliant than myself, but I'll try to see how to cope. Alright, somebody is raising their hand. You want to talk? Please go ahead. Okay, Sony says networking is connecting to other people for marketing or sales purposes. Great, great, great. But I'm here thinking that there might also be other reasons why we're connecting apart from sales and marketing. But good. You want your plot of land in Abuja? Okay, talk to my guy here after this call. I'll give you his name, his phone number, date of birth, his house address, and everything so that I can go and collect. Alright, so let's jump into this. Can you see my screen, please? Everyone? Can you see my screen? I believe you can. Can you? If you can, just say yes. Okay, great. I feel good. Alright, so your network is your net worth. Do we agree with this statement? Do you agree with it? That your network is your net worth? Yes, you can. Okay, yes, you agree with it. So what it means is that the sum total of your worth is so very dependent on your network, because the people in your network determine what and what you can do and what you cannot do. Let me quickly read a story for us. I was actually trying to put it on the slide. It's actually some sort of joke, but I'm sure we can learn 1 or 2 things from it. So I want to quickly search for it on my phone, talking about the power of network. 1 second and we will be there. Your network is your net worth. So if you're not building your network, you are doing yourself a lot of disservice, because you just never can tell when you're going to need that network to get things done for you. Okay, so this is a story of a smart father. Let me quickly read it to you so that we can talk about it. So the man wants his son to marry a girl that he chooses for him. So he says, son, I want you to marry the girl of my choice. The guy says, no, I'm not going to marry the girl of your choice. So the father says, she's Bill Gates' daughter. And the son said, okay, daddy, please, I will marry him. Can you come? I will marry her. Can you go and bring her today? Okay? So the man also called Bill Gates and said, I want your daughter to marry my son. Bill Gates said no. Then he called Bill Gates and said, my son is the CEO of World Bank. Bill Gates said, okay, I hope you are following this. He told the son, I want you to marry the girl of my choice. The guy said no initially. And that's going to happen a lot of time to you when you're doing your sales. People will initially say a lot of no to you. But when the guy said no, he said, okay, this girl is Bill Gates' daughter. So the guy said, yes, I want to marry her. Then he picked up his phone again and called Bill Gates and said, I want your daughter to marry my son. Bill Gates said, no, I mean, who is your son? He said, my son is the CEO of World Bank. The guy said, let me bring the daughter to your house immediately. Then he also called the president of the World Bank and asked him to make his son the CEO. And the guy said, "What did you smoke this morning? Why should I make your son my CEO?" He said, "Because my son is not the in-law to Bill Gates." And the guy said, "Yes, so I'll make your son the CEO." I don't know whether we get the story. He has an intention. He wanted to leverage the power of network, because people a lot of time will respond to you based on the people in your circle. So when he told his son, "I want you to marry someone," the guy said no. But when he told him that this person I want you to marry is the daughter of Bill Gates, the guy said yes, right? Because the guy already see that if I marry the daughter of Bill Gates, that is a rich network for me. I can always leverage that network to get a lot of things done. But in actual sense, the girl is not the daughter. I mean, he has not actually secured the hand of the daughter in marriage. When he's saying something, can you please mute your mic? Can we
remove it? Because maybe you should check that list of salary advance. So you know
Okay, so I don't know how we got what the guy did, but basically he's trying to leverage the power of network. He told Bill Gates, "I want my son to marry your daughter." Bill Gates said no again, but he says my son is the CEO of World Bank, even though the son has not become the CEO at that point. So when he called the president of World Bank, he says, "Make my son the CEO because he's the in-law to Bill Gates." And because of his smartness, he was able to get those things sorted out. All right. So that tells me that people look at faces, people look at your network, look at your person before they patronize you. So sometimes it's not about what you're selling, it's about your person, it's about summary of your person to the people you're talking with, about what they perceive about you. So your network is your net worth. Alright, so let's go. What is networking? Sometimes people think networking is you just get into an event, give them your card, call them like 20 times on Monday morning, and please they have 20 plots of land in it. Can you come and buy? And the guy will say, "Come and carry me." Because you have not built a rapport. I see that happen a lot of time. Somebody sent me a link, a connection link on LinkedIn. I accept, and the next thing is I work with rent money, I work with this, I work with that. If you need loan, come. And I'm thinking, you have not even built a rapport with me. Have you checked my profile to see what would interest me? Let's say, for instance, I'm in the event industry. Have you tried to talk about one or two events? Have you tried to create a rapport with me so that at that point then you can now start selling? But people just want to push things to you, and that is not networking. All right. Networking is about establishing and nurturing long-term relationship, and it has to be mutually beneficial also. What does that mean? It means that somebody is saying, "I hold you to your words." Interesting. Okay, so forget about the 20 plots of land. I don't have such anyway. Okay, so it's about mutually beneficial relationship. It has to be mutually beneficial. I have to gain from you, you have to gain from me. So if everything you're doing is just about you gaining from me, then it is not networking again. It's a one-sided relationship, it's a parasitic relationship. Nobody wants another person to be a parasite on them, okay? And so it's not merely exchange of information with other people, it's a lot more than that. And it's certainly not about begging for favors or chasing people about so that they can patronize you. And if you are fond of doing that, please stop it. Let people be comfortable with you before you start pushing your merchandise or whatever you're selling to them. Try to build a rapport, try to let them know that they stand to gain from it, and then push whatever you're selling. But don't start by just being very, very aggressive. Okay? So we talked about what networking is all about. I think I have this slide duplicated. So networking must be intentional. It must be both intentional, strategic, and mutually rewarding. If it's not intentional, that means you stand the risk of missing out some important thing. But when you are intentional about networking, right? When you already make up your mind, for instance, I'm going to this 3-day conference that my company has sent me to, and I'm going to network. I intend to get at least 20 contacts from this meeting. You will do it intentionally. You will do it with a lot of intentionality, and then it will be a lot easier for you to get results. But when you say, okay, they said we should go for conference, let me just go there and enjoy. After all, I've been working all my life. But when you are intentional about networking, you go there and then you are prepared for it. You go with your core cards. You already know the kind of people you are looking to. I mean, your product will determine the kind of people you want to talk to. If you're selling a premium product, you don't want to talk to people that earn 50,000 per month. It doesn't make sense, right? But doesn't mean you snub other people. No, you don't. So you are just strategic. You are just intentional. You know the kind of people that can buy your product and service, and you are intentionally looking out for them. So why should we even network? Somebody is asking. After all, I'm a shy person, or after all, I don't like talking to people. The truth is that opportunities come through people. So I tell people that come around me that another way to spell opportunity is P-E-O-P-L-E. Strange, right? So opportunity is about people. It's people that provide opportunity for you. Just think about where you are today. If you have a job, think about the job you have today. If you're married to a man or a woman, think about how you were connected to that person. You can actually see that for everything you have achieved, there is a way you can link it to people providing opportunities for you. The job that you have, somebody probably told you about that job. They share the vacancy with you, right? Or you're working with a company, or you have a contract with the company. Somebody gave you the foot into the room. They gave you the contact of the head of HR or whoever that can connect you. So people are the ones that provide opportunity for us. Yeah, we need to develop our skill, our competence, but we need people along the line. So if you don't network with people, you are missing a great deal. Okay? Then networking helps you to connect with people, not just knowing them on the surface, but you connect with them, you build rapport with them. So at that point, they don't see you as statistic, they see you as someone that they have bonded with. So you become friends with them, and they can go out of their way to help you and solve problems for you. And when you also network, it helps you to learn and develop. When you network, you get to know more people, you get to see things from different perspectives, and then like they say, iron sharpens iron. So when you people, you learn from their way of life and you become a better person. Not so? Then you also network so that you can collaborate and partner with other people. We know that we cannot do anything alone. You have to know people, you have to work with other people. There are a lot of things that if you set out to do it by yourself, you might not make a success out of it. But when you partner with other people, what happens? You become better, and that's what networking can do for you. Okay? Then another advantage of networking is that it helps you to get patronage. It helps you to achieve sales, and that's probably the most important reason why we're here, because we want to get sales, right? We want to be able to sell our product and services to other people. But when they don't know us, they don't buy from us, because people buy from people they know and people they trust. So when you network, you are actually creating room for people to patronize you along the line. So this is why it is very, very important for us to network. Okay, so if you are still here, can you just type in the chat box? Let me be sure I've not been talking to myself all this while. Just type yes, I'm still here. Type yes, I'm still here. Let's be sure we are okay. Frank wants to say something. Or you are just raising your hand. You can go ahead if you want to talk. Frank, you want to say something, or you want to type in the chat box? Okay, yes, I'm still here. Am I still here? Great. All right. So if you stay till the end, I can assure you get lunch served. But it's going to be e-lunch, right? So you get your e-cutlery. I'll do justice to it. Okay, Adeyemi is still here. Refinum is still here. Benedict is here. All right, well done, guys. So let's move on to the tips now. I don't want to just give us theories. I want us to share practical tips on how to network. Now we've been able to talk about what networking is. We've been able to talk about why it's important for us to network. So let's dive into the keys. Let's dive into the practical tips for networking. Adenike is still here. Good to still have you here. Awesome. All right, so let's move on. Practical tips now for networking. Number one, communication and appearance is very, very key. Sometimes people, before they listen to you, they already size you up. You know what I'm talking about. So people tell you that the way you dress is the way you are dressed. Okay? So communication and appearance is very, very important. The way you communicate, the way you carry yourself, the way you appear to people already tells them something about you. So a lot of time you are doing a lot of disservice to your brand and your person and the business when your appearance is not top notch. There are some set of people you look at and you already can tell the kind of companies they work with because of the way they dress. And then you are telling yourself, this is the way the people in this company look. I don't want to have anything to do with them. All right, so your appearance and your communication is very, very important. I mean, how can a salesperson make a good career if they don't know how to communicate? They don't know how to appear well to people. Like I said, people look at you before they even listen to what you want to say. And sometimes you don't have a chance to make a second impression. It's just that first impression that people see and it sticks with them. So very important. Very, very what? Very, very important. So the next tip, have win-win in mind. Sorry about the typo. You must be thinking of a win-win situation for everybody. You must not be thinking of yourself alone. You know, I already mentioned that when you are talking about, when you are networking, you are thinking of something that is mutually beneficial. Just as you are thinking of what to sell or what you will benefit from that person, you also already needs to start thinking what can be beneficial to them, what is a need for them. People want to know what's the need for them before they listen to you, before they network with you. So don't just be thinking about yourself, all right? Think about how you can also benefit them. Very, very important. Then another thing we need to start doing is start before you need that network. Um, Sometimes you see people that come to you just because they need a favor from you, and after they have gotten that favor from you, they disappear from your life. And the next time they call you again, you can be very, very sure that they want to ask you for that 10K that you are not using so that you can borrow them. You know people like that. And so what happens is that when you see a particular person calling you, immediately you see the number come through on your phone. You just probably mute your phone or something, or you end the call because you already know that the only time they call you is when they need favor. When that is what you are doing, you are not networking. You are just taking advantage of people. So before you need a relationship, start cultivating it. You just never can tell what that person will do for you in the future. So I tell people as much as possible, be nice to people that come across your way. That colleague that you are sharing your office with today can be the one that will submit your CV in a place where you're going to get 5 steps higher than the current place where you are. But if you are not networking with them, if you already size them up and say, what can this person do for me? When they have the opportunity to help you, they will probably not think about you. You will not be top of mind to them because when they did not seem to have so much to offer in code, you have not cultivated relationship with them. So it's the same thing with sales. Before you start thinking of what to sell to people, start getting used to them, start networking with them, start building rapport with them. It's not just when you want to sell that you start greeting them in a very unusual way. Then you go to church and you sit beside them and you are saying, I like the color of your shirt, or you're looking very, very smashing. And they say thank you. And the next thing you just bring out the flyer and say, we are selling land in Agbara, we are selling land in Lekki. And after they have bought one plot to help your life, the next time you come again is another 6 months, and the next thing you want to sell is land or you want to sell a property. When you're that kind of person, when you want to sit beside them in the church or in the mosque or wherever, they will say, please, somebody else is already sitting beside me, right? Because they know that you are using them. Okay, so it's very important that before you need a relationship, try to cultivate it, try to build a relationship. Then the next thing, be sincere. Be very, very sincere with people. Let them know that you have their interest at heart. Whatever you're selling, don't sell a problematic product to them or service. Be sincere with them. When you're selling a benefit to a particular audience, be sure that you are sincere with them. If, for instance, the place is 10 kilometers from Dangote refinery, don't tell them it's 1 kilometer from Dangote refinery. And so the day you are supposed to take them for inspection, you are traveling and traveling and traveling and traveling. And the guy is saying, when are we going to get there? Are we going to heaven? In that situation, they won't trust you again because they have given you a chance the first time and you are not sincere with them. So, as much as possible, be sincere. If it's 10 kilometers from a particular place, tell them. If a particular facility is going to be available in that place, tell them. Don't tell them lies so that they can buy from you. You know, there's a magic, there's a saying that you can only fool people once. A smart person, you can only fool him once. After the first time, you can't fool him again, because if you fool him again, that means the person himself has issues. Okay? Then learn about people's goals. Don't just try to be concerned about yourself. Okay? The best way to have an impact is to add value directly where it is most important to the other person. So what are their goals? What do they want to achieve in life? Let's say, for instance, you are trying to talk to a person and he's a retiree. He just got his pension for blah blah blah, and he's in his late 50s or late 60s. You know that that person, he probably wants to have a roof over his head, something that can be called his own. So in that case, when you're able to identify his need and you're already able to profile him, you can already suggest to him, based on how much I think this person has, I think it will be suited to get a place in Lekki, in Aja, in Moe, in Agbara, because you already have an idea of what their goals should be. It means that you have taken your time to study them. So don't just go to people blindly. Get to study. Like I told you the example of you that will reach out to me on LinkedIn, and I feel like the first thing you want to do is check out my profile. And then based on the profile that you have checked, you can already guess one or two things about me. When I meet people for the first time, even if it's your phone number that I get, what I do is I type your phone number on Google. And so if there's any point in time where you have done a business on the internet and you have put your phone number anywhere, it brings out your phone number. So when I see your phone number, I already can start thinking about what you do, right? Because wherever you put your phone number is important to you. And so through that, I can get some other details about you. And sometimes when I interact with people and I tell them things about them, they are wondering how I got this information. It's because I took interest in trying to get to know them. And from just your name or probably your phone number or anything, I can get a lot of details. So that when I'm networking with you, I'm not talking blindly. I'm talking based on the knowledge I have about your person and your preferences. And that's a lot better, right? You'll be more eager to listen to me because I'm speaking your language. Then another thing you can do is connect people that you know. Let's say, for instance, somebody needs a web designer, and you know one who's a web designer. Connect the two of them together. You know what that is? You are creating like an emotional bank account. So that person that you connected with and he makes money from another person, he will be thinking of how to also benefit you. Not so. So when you come and meet him and say, please, can you give me 5 of your contacts that will be able to buy the land or the property we are selling, they will be more than willing because you've been of help to them. But it's possible for you to say, and when they say I need a web designer, just say, I'm not a web designer, please go away. But start thinking, in your network, there will be somebody that can offer that service. So if somebody asks you for a service provider, even if you are not offering it, look for, tell them, give me 5 minutes. And the truth is, even if you check your network, your contact, they are not there, talk to other people. So that when you refer that person to another person, they feel indebted to you. And when people feel indebted to you, they want to patronize you, right? They want to be of help to you too, because you have an emotional bank account with them and you have it credited already. So very, very important. Yet another tip. I think after the next 3 or 4 tips, we're going to have a break, right, for a poll. Then we go back into the remaining session. So give more than you expect to receive. Do what? Give more than you expect to receive. If you want to build trust in your relationship, always seek to add more value to the people in your network. What can you do? What is that thing that you can give them? Are you good at motivational talk? Just be that person. You have a group of people, right? In the morning, be the one that will send motivational quotes for them. Even if you are not the one doing it, search for things that can benefit them. Be that person. Like I belong to one group, and we know one person in that group that the only thing he does is send vacancy adverts to the group. Alright, it's a professional group. And even if some of us don't need those adverts, we can send it to people around us. And everybody has been commending me and they are saying this guy is bringing value to the table. So what value can you bring? Don't just be the person that wants to receive. What value can you bring on the table? What can people know you for? What problem can you solve for people? Because when you solve problem for them, they will listen to you, right? So when people are consistently benefiting from a relationship, it moves their desire to connect with you more. They want to connect. They want to say, this person that is always doing this for us, I'm sure he has needs. I'm sure there is something he's selling. I'm sure they will even ask you, what are you into? If it's okay, I'm a realtor. Okay, you're a realtor, and I'm actually trying to buy some plots of land. I don't intend living there, but I want to just do land banking. I just want to keep them to appreciate for the next 4 or 5 years. They was okay. I was okay. I have properties like that because what you have brought value to the table, and they kind of feel obligated to also want to patronize you. Not so. So look at how you can be useful to people every time. That group that you belong to, that you're always sending broadcasts, come and balance, come and balance. Is that the only thing you can do in that group? What else can you do? Okay? Then you have to be genuinely interested in people. I've actually mentioned that you have to be genuinely interested in people. Let people know that you are interested in them, and ask about their welfare, ask about their family, show some empathy towards them, all right? Not just come and buy, come and buy, come and buy. Then you will be doing a mess of your networking if you are not following up. The easiest part is for you to meet people. Okay, so if you're networking, I said the easier part is for you to meet people, right? Collect their contacts, say I'm pleased to meet you. But what do you do with those contacts that you have collected from them? You need to learn to follow up with people. Very, very, very important. So what I try to do when I get your call card or when we exchange phone number, as much as possible when I get back to the office or home, I try to reflect on what has happened during the day. And then I think about the people I've met. So is that I want to just send you an SMS, send you an email, do a phone call to say I'm happy to have met you earlier today. You know, it's still very fresh. All right, they can still remember you, and so you have gone out of your way to say I'm actually interested in establishing a relationship with you, and that's why I'm calling. That's why I'm sending an SMS. That's why I'm contacting you on WhatsApp. Or of course, you need to know the platform that the person would prefer. Not so. It's not like you meet someone today and then you get back to your office and the next thing you are doing is a video call with them on WhatsApp when they have not even met you. It doesn't make any sense, right? So you need to know what platform they prefer you to communicate with them from. So before it gets cold, try to get in touch with them through an email, an SMS, or a phone call so that you can cement that relationship and they can really, really remember you. Because if you call 1 week after, they might have forgotten what you look like, right? But if it's still today, it's still fresh in their memory. So after you have called today, you call a week after again, call like another 2 weeks. They know that you really don't want to be their friends. Now you are chatting on WhatsApp, they can see your status, they can see you on Facebook, Instagram, they can see you. And so you are top of mind to them. So when they have a need for what you sell, they will remember you. Okay, then another thing you need to do is learn to listen. Sometimes we are so interested in just talking. We are not listening to people, and it is not good. You know why? Because when you keep talking and talking, you cannot learn new things. Because whatever you are saying is what you have learned, what you know, right? But when you listen to other people, you learn new things. Sometimes when you are listening to people, you are not actually listening. You are thinking of the next thing you're going to say. And you have a disjointed communication because you are not answering their question the way they want it to be answered because you are busy thinking of what your answer should be. So as much as possible, put your focus on the speaker instead of thinking about what you are going to say when they are done talking. I think at this point we're going to have a short break for a quick poll. Then we come back afterwards. I hope that is fine. Okay, we are unable to deploy the poll at this time, so I guess I should just continue. Hopefully, we'll probably still be able to do it before the session ends or something. But at this point, so that I'm sure, like I said, I'm not talking to myself. So can you just type in one thing you've learned since this session started some 30 minutes ago? One thing you've learned. I want us all to just type into the chat box. One thing you've learned from the beginning of this session. Can we do that? One thing you have learned today about networking. Anyone, what have you learned today? Okay, listening. Interesting, that was the last point. Okay, so I want more people to respond. What have you learned today? What have you learned today? If you don't talk, no, I'll be going on. Following up on people, yeah, that's a DM. Following up on people. Okay. What again? Appearance and communication, very, very important. The way you dress is the way you are dressed. Alright, always try to add value to the network group. Don't just be a taker. Just go into the group and just dump your broadcast. We have properties in Agbara, we have it, and just type and just dump it in the morning, and you don't come back again. The next day you dump the same thing. The third day, I mean, people will say, "Are you there? Are you okay at all?" And when you come there and you add value, even if you just contribute to discussion, they know that you are also trying to bring value to the table. I want other people to respond, please. Should I start calling names? And like I mentioned at the beginning of this session, for people that do well, I have 20 plots of land to give away. So if you answer quite well, you get plots of land. Ensure you develop a rapport with who you network with before delving into marketing your product. Very, very key. Benefit each other and build relationship. Very, very interesting. Because apart from just selling today, you probably need that relationship at some other point in the future, right? So try and see how you can benefit them. Not just be about what you want to sell now, because people are more valuable beyond what you see about them today. For you, when you see people, you are just saying, okay, this guy can buy 20 plots. But what makes you feel that this person cannot even do a lot more than that in the future? Alright? You'll be depositing into their emotional bank account this way. Thank you very much, Adenike. So you're depositing to their emotional bank account when you are genuinely interested in people. Alright, so let's just move on to the next segment where we just Alright, so another tip that I want to give, I said this will be more about tips instead of just theories and theories. I want us to share tips, practical tips, and try and see how we can relate it to everyday life as a salesperson, especially in the real estate sector. So know people in different worlds. What does it mean? Be versatile. Know people in different field and different sector. Don't be a local champion. The fact that you're a realtor does not mean that everybody in your network is a real estate person. It is not advisable. As much as possible, try to know people from different sectors, right? People from different background. Don't just focus on people that are within your network or your neighborhood or from your own town. Yeah, you have that association for people from your own town, and that's the only place where you go every Sunday. and you keep shifting meeting from one person's house to another. Very, very good, right? But if that's the only network you have, you might just be doing yourself a lot of disservice. Why not try and spread your tentacle and know people from different background, no bankers, no other professionals, no consultants, no real estate people, no people in teaching, so that you can actually expand your network. All right? Very, very interesting. Okay? Now the next thing, I said you should know people in different worlds from different sectors. Then you have to take the initiative. You don't have to wait for people to come meet you first. Especially if you are meeting people at an event and you're just waiting for them to come to you first. It doesn't always work like that. Play a very active role in networking. Be the person who start the conversation. I've heard people say I'm a very shy person. And what I tell them is that what are you doing in sales if you're saying you are shy? If you want to be shy when you're at home, be shy in some circles. But when you are doing business, you can't afford to be shy. I watched an interview of this lady, what's her name now, Tiwa Savage. And she was saying that she was actually a very shy person. And I actually believe from the way she comported herself at the interview, I think it was TA that was interviewing her on TV. And she was very shy and very, very whatever. But she becomes another thing when she gets on stage, right? So you can be shy. Naturally, as a person, you are shy. It's okay. We can't kill you because of that. But when it's time for business, you can't afford to be shy. I beg. You can't afford to. So be the person that start the conversation. Be quick to introduce yourself and be the first person to offer help when it is required. Be the first person to offer help when it is required in a setup, in a setting. Because when you solve problems for people, people will remember you. So don't always wait and say, that person has not greeted me. You are the one that has something to say. I'm sure you remember. So that person that you meet in the church, at the mosque, in that family meeting or whatever meeting, try take a step further. Go and meet them and say hi to them. Ask them how they are doing. Ask after their family. Tell them about what you're selling. Right? Then always stay in touch. Have you ever had a situation where somebody has been trying to market product or service to you, and then 3 months down the line you need that particular service, and you call their number and you cannot get through to them, and the next time they call you 6 months after and you say, I called you 6 months ago to patronize you, and you say, sorry, I changed my number. It's very funny. How can a sole person be changing his number? I mean, just arbitrarily. It doesn't make sense, right? So as much as possible, keep in touch with people. I have a friend, and I was wondering what the guy was doing. But every month, this guy will send SMS to all of us in his network. Every single person. He will send bulk SMS. He just say, Happy New Month, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, what's this guy up to? But the guy ended up a salesperson, right? I'm sure I had always known he would be a salesperson. And that business, in the organization where he works, I know he has won the staff of the year 2 times. He has gotten the company car once for being the best salesperson. Why? Because he has built relationship with people. He kept staying in touch with people. I will see him all over social media. Somebody is having their children's birthday, he will take his children there. Somebody is doing this, he travels there. It's a lot of work for him, but he's actually very intentional and he stayed in touch with people. When somebody comes for your event, you will listen to them, right? When they are telling you that they have 1 or 2 things to sell. Not so. So stay in touch with people. Don't just appear in people's life and disappear. Don't ghost people. And then when you feel like, let me call you again after like 1 year, you call them again and they say, where have you been? And you say, they say, okay, remind me next week. And you don't show up next week again. You call them back after 2 years. It doesn't make sense. It means that you are not serious. Okay. So remember to regularly check in with your associates or people you are trying to sell products to, or even the ones that have bought from you, with a quick email or phone call. And when I talk about staying in touch, it's not just about people you are prospecting, even the ones that have bought from you. People have bought a property from you, they expect you to do 1 or 2 things for them, give them some documents, help them with 2 things, and then you say because they have bought what they needed to buy, Somebody saying no audio anymore. Wow. So Frank, I just probably need to check. Oh, somebody says loud and clear. I need to check your probably it's from your end, Frank. Okay, so always stay in touch. Don't ghost on people. Don't just appear and disappear in people's life. Okay, when you are getting their attention, you might just need one more call, one more visit, and you get the sale. But when you are not following up, somebody else just gets there and it closes the deal. All right. And then be authentic. I need to start running now. Be authentic. What? Be authentic. Be real. People like people that are authentic. They like people that are authentic, not fake people. Don't be fake. If you tell them that this business we're doing, this estate we are selling, this is what and what will be the facilities there. If you know that you are not planning to provide 24-hour electricity in that estate, please don't tell them. Don't sell what you are not. Don't sell fake, don't give them fake promises. All right, hold yourself to a higher standard and you will stand out from the crowd. Be real. Don't put up an impression of the person that you are not. They will get to know after some time and they will not trust you again. All right. Frank says he still cannot hear me, so it's most probably from your end, Frank. Every other person confirmed that they can hear. We probably want to sign out and sign in again or something, or check if your audio is activated. I'm sorry to hear that though. All right, so let's go on. I said you need to be authentic, then you need to be humble. Every salesperson needs to be humble. Yeah, we know that you are well to do, you drive the latest Range Rover, whatever, but when you are still trying to sell to me, you have to be humble. You can't be proud and be a salesperson at the same time. It doesn't go together, right? Because a lot of time people that are buying, they think the seller, the buyer, the seller is doing this. How do I say it now? The buyer think is doing the seller a lot of favor. That's the way we see it, and we always say that the customer is king. So you have to be humble, right? Nothing turns people off quicker than arrogance. Humility, on the other hand, is very, very commendable. So when you're humble, it keeps you grounded, even when your network starts to grow. When your network is growing and you are still humble, people stick around you. But when your network is growing and you think, now I'm a big boy, I can't roll with those guys I was networking with some years ago, then they stay away from you. And you never can tell what value they can be to you in the nearest future. So you have to be humble. Then this is just close to what I've mentioned before. You have to look the part. You have to dress and appear well, right? Dress and appear well. If you're saying that you are selling a product that is worth 10 million naira and they look at you and they size you up and say, this person is selling a product of 10 million naira, and I look at you and I'm saying, if I give this guy 10 million, I'm not sure it's not going to run away because they will size you up, right? So look the part, appear like, what I tell people is this. When you have a target audience in mind for your product, ask yourself, how do they dress? Do they wear suit and tie? So if they wear suit and tie, I want to go meet them wearing suit and tie. But if I'm targeting people that dress casual because of what they do, it might actually be good for them to dress casual because people want you to address with them, right? But when you're meeting with people and you're wearing suit and tie, sometimes it might look odd, it might look awkward. So size up the people you're trying to reach and try to look like them as much as it is possible. It's not every time that is possible, okay? Then the next point, be personal with people. People are not statistics. Be personal with them. Instead of sending a bulk email, sometimes, I'm not saying all of the time, sometimes for people that you have personal relationship with or you're trying to develop a personal relationship with, send an original message, not bulk email or bulk SMS, if it is possible for you to do. Okay? So that people know that you're actually being personal with them. Even though this may require extra time and extra effort on your part, people feel genuinely valued. Alright? They feel genuinely valued. Have you ever seen a situation where you're talking to someone and you ask after their children, they say they are fine. But instead of asking after their children, you say, okay, how is Jim Rabi? How is Michelle? Because those are the names of the children. They will feel very, very important. That means you have even you have even gone ahead to memorize the name of my children. Alright? Maybe you even have just one interaction with them, you asked after the name of their children, or you met those children, and then you went ahead to memorize the name, and you're asking for the names. People will feel very important when you get personal with them. Very, very key that you do that. So another thing that is necessary when you're networking is get a mentor. Get someone that you can look up to. Look for someone who has gone ahead of you in this field. In the real estate industry, who are the people that have gone ahead of you? Who is that person that is great at selling real estate, selling properties? You want to get closer to them, you want to get to know them, and of course, when you are approaching them, it's not just because of what you want to gain, you also are bringing value to the table, okay? So when you have a mentor, what happens is that they tell you things to watch out for. They provide like the expert for you so that you don't make some mistakes in the process of in your career. And then they also expose you to their networks. Some of them will tell you, you can approach this person, approach this person. I met them sometimes ago, they're in my network. So get a mentor. But when you are trying to get a mentor, don't be a user. Don't get a mentor because you want to use them. They also have needs. So I think one way to actually warm your way into the heart of the mentor is ask yourself, what are their needs? This person I'm trying to approach, what is it likely to need? And then when you meet their needs, it becomes easier for them to open up to you. Your mentor has written a book, buy his book. It is organizing a training that is paid for. Be a part of that training. Because when you know that this person is actually interested in what I have, they listen to you and they help you, they support you. Then don't ask for favor too soon. Too soon when you're starting a relationship. Don't ask for favor too soon and don't be there. Alright? Give it some time, give it rapport. Very important. And don't kill conversations. You go to an event, don't kill conversations. So there is such a thing as overdoing it when you're conversing. When you have been speaking for a little while and there isn't much left to say, exit the conversation smoothly and move on to other people. Don't bog down someone. You are in a meeting, let's say you are in a training and you have 1 hour to network and you've been talking to Mr. Lagbaja for 25 minutes. Please, you have said enough. Move on to other people. Also give him the opportunity to go and meet other people. But when you are just bugging him and you are telling him about all the projects, all the properties you have in different locations, and the guy is just trying to be polite with you, but already is getting agitated and impatient. That person, the next time he sees you, he tries to avoid you. Maybe the training is for 3 days. The next day you are coming there, the guy just quickly just moves away and goes to another person. Because he's not able to go through that rigor of another 30 minutes or 1 hour session of talking with you. Okay? We'll be rounding up very soon. Then, for you to be a good networker, you have to have an opinion, right? You need to know something about something. You need to be somebody that has ideas, somebody that is legible. You need to be informed. Let's go on. Have an opinion, be knowledgeable, okay? Instead of just looking lost all of the time and you don't have things to say. For people to trust you, they have to respect you. How do they respect you? They want to know the stuff you are made of. How do you know the stuff you are made of? You have to talk, you have to open your mouth and say something knowledgeable, right? Something that is of value. But does it mean that even when you don't have something cogent to say, you open your mouth? No. Sometimes it's even better for you not to open your mouth than open it and then you just reduce your own bride price or good price. Alright. Very important. Then be confident too. When you approach people to sell to them, don't go with your hands at your back. Go and meet people with confidence. Okay? Be very confident. The worst that can happen is they will say no to you, and nobody has ever died because they had no. Then always say thanks to people. Say thank you to people when they patronize you, when they listen to you, when they return your call or whatever. Just say thank you to people. Nobody ever goes wrong with saying thank you to people. It shows that they are valued. Then be enthusiastic when you're selling. Show your zeal, show your passion. Nobody wants to buy from somebody that is not passionate about what they are selling. So be passionate about it. Do your own work too. Very, very important. I already mentioned that at some point. When you are contacting people, make sure you are well informed about their situation. If somebody is a landlord, what you are selling to him might be different from what you are selling to someone that is a tenant, right? So do your own work very well. Try to find out one or two things about people before you approach them so that you are selling the right product or service to them. Then this is also very important. Join associations, club, groups, and what have you. All those associations that you join, Rotary Club, your dance club, those associations, they are very, very important to you because you can actually network with people. You can get closer to people that you are looking at from afar, and they can be of benefit for you because they will patronize you and also refer you to other people. Then, of course, promote your business or your purpose more than yourself. Don't go into a meeting and everything you're talking about is just you, and you're even forgetting about talking about your business. Don't start telling them about your family member, your children. I mean, your preference is good. Maybe you want to talk about you, but talk about the business. Don't forget that you are talking to them because you want to sell something to them, not because you want to sell yourself. Then attend conference, attend events, very important. I have just a few more points to go. Leverage the network of other people. Use the network of others to expand your own network. Go out of your way to introduce yourself to people you have only heard of through an associate. Yeah, you need to meet someone and you don't know them, but you know that somebody somewhere knows somebody. So use that somebody somewhere that knows someone to get across to them. Like I tell people, if you ask me that you need the contact of someone, I will never tell you I don't have. Give me some minutes. If I don't check them on LinkedIn, for instance, I will probably see mutual friends on LinkedIn or Facebook. So I talk to the mutual friend to ask him to do an introduction for me. Even if I have to go like 3-4 stages, somebody introduces me to someone and then another one introduces me to that person that will get me across to the person I eventually need to talk to. So leverage the network of other people. Don't just assume that you can never reach someone. Tell yourself, I can always get somebody that knows someone that knows someone that knows someone. You eventually get to the person I'm trying to get in contact with them. Also, you need to act with integrity. Let your word be your bond. Whatever you promise, please do. When you tell a customer you're going to get across to them tomorrow, please do. If you know that that document is not going to be ready in 3 months, don't tell them that the allocation will be ready next week when you know it's not going to be ready next week. Don't tell them that the CFO or whatever document will be ready tomorrow when you know it's not going to be ready. Integrity is very, very key. Because it's better for you to keep that relationship and they keep buying from you than you tell a lie and you sell just once, then after selling once they don't come back to you again and they go to other people and tell them that that person is not worthy of being relied upon. And you know what's also happened? They also say bad things, not just about you but also about your company. And so people start saying that company, don't listen to them, not because the company is bad, but because just one person has actually made a mess of the name of that company. Okay, so build close relationship. I've said that a lot of times. Build close relationship, not relationship of acquaintances just alone. Okay, I know that person. I know they ask you when was the last time you spoke to them. You say 4 years ago, and you even see them on WhatsApp. You don't say hi to them once in a while. That's not a close relationship. Then don't be afraid to ask for what you want. The worst that will happen is people will say no to you, right? And you just never can tell. That person you think will say no might say yes. So the answer to every request that you don't make is already a no. So if you want to brighten your chances, ask that question. Ask them for that thing. Ask them to buy your property. Ask them to buy what you're selling. If they say no today, that will not mean there will be a no tomorrow. Okay? Then write things down because it is very, very likely that you meet a lot of people every day in the name of sales and marketing. You can't trust that you remember all the details. Write it down. Store it on your phone. Store it on your computer. Keep those details so that you can remember them when you need them. Don't just think you can always remember everybody you meet across the way. Write them down. Then, of course, when you are leaving a meeting or a networking session, leave on a very high note, right? Talk with people, let people be excited about your person. Don't be the one that will dampen the atmosphere. Then, of course, you have to blend in. When you're in a social gathering, don't just be the odd one out in that gathering. Let people notice you. When you're in a training, for instance, or in a conference, be the one that want to answer the question. Be the one that raises up your hand. Yeah, but I said because you have something meaningful to say. Be the star in that gathering, okay? Let people know you, let people feel your presence so that people already say, this guy, there is something about him. What happens is that at that particular gathering, after maybe when you have a break or something, people will naturally come to you and say, who is this guy that has been talking all of this time? So it seems to the headache of being the ones who go and approach them. And so in the process of interfacing with them, telling them about what you do, it will be a lot easier for you to make sales. And that is just the end of our class this morning. At this point, we're just going to have question. Yeah, so let's have question and answer session for the next 5 or 10 minutes. So if you have a question, is either you raise your hand so that we can unmute you, or you type it into the chat box. So raise your hand or type in your question in the chat box so that we can quickly attend to it. Are we still here? Okay. Can you get my contact? Okay, you can get my contact after paying. I will first of all send my, you see a set of number, and it's actually my account number. So after you have created my account, I will send my contact. I'm joking actually. So this is my contact. Okay, so this is my contact. And my name is Realty. Okay, so please go ahead. Questions, and questions. If you don't ask questions, it probably means I've just said rubbish from the beginning. Can we have questions before I will feel good about myself? Any question or comment, or you just want to add something, or you have an observation? It's self-explanatory. Wow. Thank you for that. Okay, so Abiola Fadaosi, Adila Jashukoy, Adenike, Adiyemi. I want feedback, please. If you know the question, let's have feedback. You have a comment, you want to say something. I want to also network with you. So through your feedback, I network with you. Thank you to Amara. Benedict Frank. Godwin Grace. More comments. Okay, great. I've always had this challenge of target audience. How do I go about it? Okay, so let's break it down. What is the meaning of target audience? Your target audience are the set of people that you are trying to communicate what you are selling to. They are the people that can buy your product or service. So like I said, for instance, if you're selling a property that is worth 10 million, your target audience is not that guy that just graduated from school and just got a job of 50,000, right? So your target audience are those people who can buy your product or service. And then we said target audience. That means you have to target them, you have to look out for them, you have to create communication that will suit their profile. For instance, you might need to change language. If your target audience, for instance, I've done trainings before in preaching. Why? Because I'm training people that are artisans, and I know if I start blowing grammar, I'm just talking to myself. So what does it mean? You speak the language of your target audience. If you are speaking to HNIs, high network individuals, know the kind of language you speak to them. You are not selling loud to them in Ibesa, right? Some of them will think it's an insult to them. All right. So the target audience are the people you are trying to reach, and so you already need to map out what we call their demography and their psychography. What's demography? Talk about their age, where they live, their gender, and some other things. Psychography talks about the way they think. There's a way you say something to an HNR and it feels you are insulting him. But some other people, that's what they are looking for. All right. So look at their lifestyle. Then when you map out your target, it also tells you where you can reach them, where you can get them. You know the clubs where HNIs will visit. You know the location where people in the middle class will visit. All right. So when you have an idea of your target audience, it makes it easier for you to know how to communicate to them, determine where to reach them and network with them, determine the kind of message you want to pass across to them. Very, very important. So I would say before you even start networking, you need to map out your target. And somebody is also even asking, do you have to be in the same category with my target audience? No, you might not have to be. The fact that you are selling property to HNI doesn't mean that you have to become an HNI overnight. No. I mean, except you want to go and steal and then you start driving the kind of car they are driving. But there is a way, even when you are not driving the kind of car they are driving, you are still communicating with them at their level. Not so? So it's very, very important. Can I have the slide of this webinar sent to me? Yeah, you talk to my guys here. They would actually get back to you on that. Okay, Benedict, well understood. Thanks for sharing. Very educative to understand, very enlightening. I'm just feeling good about myself today. I feel like killing a cow and eating it all by myself. Okay, be more deliberate about this. My biggest takeaway from this is to be genuinely interested in others. I'll be more deliberate. I don't care. I tell you, you'll see a lot of difference when people find out that you are genuinely interested in them. And then when you see them, you are not just seeing on their foreheads 2 plots of land, 3 hectares of land. Because sometimes when you look at them, you say, this person will be able to afford 4 hectares. And so that's the only thing you are thinking of. But when you are genuinely interested in them and you reach out to them, you show empathy towards them, they will also communicate the same thing back to you.